lot of you have probably already experienced this or are about to experience this in the next few weeks. It's the last day of school. Parents are posting pictures online. Everyone is talking about vacation, camps, family barbecues, days at the beach. And you're just sitting there with a completely different feeling. There's like butterflies, anxiety, like happiness, nervousness, like you're not quite sure. And you're worried, not because you don't love summer. I mean, I think generally everyone loves summer, but because summer means a lot of things kind of happen that make life more difficult. Routines disappear, school supports disappear, therapy schedules change, and suddenly you are the one responsible for filling 8 or even 10 weeks while carrying around that constant question, am I doing enough? Maybe you've spent the last year trying flashcards, practicing words, modeling language, running from appointment to appointment. You're behind on your own work, behind on your laundry or cooking. Maybe you guys are spending so much money and not seeing that much progress. And despite all of that effort, all of those resources, your child is still minimally verbal. It's impacting them. It's impacting you. It's impacting your family. You don't know what they're thinking half the time. You struggle to know what they need. You wish they could tell you more about their world. And if that is you, then keep watching because this video is made for you. Because today I want to share with you the 4 main things that I did when my child was minimally verbal and when I wanted to make meaningful progress over a summer that just felt so big, so vast, so like open, where it was just me and her and my other children. And it was very, very daunting. These aren't the trendy things. These aren't the complicated things. These are the things that actually build foundations. And if you stay until the end, I'll actually share the biggest mistake that I see parents do that actually can slow communication progress down. So for those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Eloise. I spent over 15 years helping autistic individuals find their voice and communicate and just be a little bit more independent. I've worked with hundreds of families around the world, and I'm also a parent myself to a child that has a lot of complex communication challenges. So I have both worlds. And these are some foundations that I have experienced both professionally and also in my personal life, trying to be the best mom that I can be. So the first thing I would do, or the first thing I did, is I focused on total communication. And this is a really tough pill to swallow as a parent when therapists are saying you need to do AAC, sign language right now. Your child might talk in the future, they might not. So this is a pathway you need to take. That is a tough pill to swallow. And that is because we all desperately want speech, but also we want that hope of that professional saying and confirming, don't worry, speech will come in the future. Don't worry, they will be able to communicate with you. And no one really gives that, which is just so difficult. Obviously, all parents, they want to hear their child say, I love you. I'm hungry. I had a good day. I made a friend. I played with someone. And I completely understand that. But here is the shift that I want you to make and your child needs you to make is the goal is not speech. The goal is communication. Ask yourself this. What do you actually want? You want your child to communicate their wants, their experience, their world. And yes, speech is one way to do that. And that is the way that most of us use around the world. However, it is not the only way. AAC counts, gestures count, signs count, pictures count. Typing counts, writing counts. If your child is successfully communicating, you need to celebrate it. I want your child to feel communication works, people understand me, my thoughts matter, because that is what is going to motivate communication growth. And using all of these tools is actually going to get them to that verbal speech, if they have the capacity to do it, much quicker than just only trying a verbal speech approach. So what I would love to know in the comments is, what is your child currently using to communicate most often? Is it speech, AAC, signs or gestures, combination? Let me know. My child, we started off with sign language as the main form of communication, and it worked really, really well for us at home as a family. However, as they got older and started to become an age of like schools don't do sign language. Peers don't understand sign language. So we had to switch to AAC. But now this is the first year that she's been able to go without her AAC device. And I think she might even be forgetting the signs because she is able to be verbal now. But we had to go through a long process to get there. The second thing I would focus on is stopping the endless chase of repetition. Now, before anyone panics, I'm not saying modeling language is bad. Obviously, that is always good. But what I am saying is repetition alone is never going to be enough if your child is struggling with this. Many parents will spend years being like, put it on, put it on, put it on, put it on, right? They become Miss Rachel. And yes, this works for lots and lots of children. But if that method is not allowing your child to pick it up, there's going to be something deeper kind of going on with them. So here's my question. The words that you are repeating and modeling to your child, can they use that word independently tomorrow? Can they use it in a different situation? Can they use it because they genuinely understand what it means? Because communication isn't repetition, it is meaning. Words represent experiences, people, places, actions, memories, and feelings. And this summer, that's what I want you to do. Go and build experiences. Go to the beach, go swimming, build a fort, bake cookies, visit grandparents, go to the park, then talk about it, picture it, remember it, retell it. The experience comes first, and the language is going to grow from that experience. And that's where some of the most meaningful communication development happens. The third thing I would focus on is movement. And this is actually really big and very, very important. One of the most underrated communication tools out there. So when we are thinking about an autistic individual, adult, child, they're actually working incredibly hard, often just to organize their bodies, the motor planning, the coordination, the balance, the body awareness, the regulation, the filtering out kind of the sensory stimulation that is constantly kind of attacking them in the world. And this understanding of the brain and body working together is so vital. If you strengthen the body, it is actually going to help the brain. If you regulate the body, it's going to help the brain. So this is why I love activities like swimming, climbing, swinging, obstacle courses, throwing and catching, nature walks, drawing giant rainbows with chalk, kicking a ball. These aren't actually distractions from learning, nor are they like a waste of time. They're actually incredibly important in building that bodily foundation for communication. And I often see children become more available for communication when their sensory and movement needs are being supported consistently. I also see children become much better with their motor planning when their bodies are actually stronger. So don't underestimate the power of movement this summer. And sometimes progress is going to start a long time before a child actually says a word. So the final thing I would focus on is teaching useful words. Now, don't get me wrong, labels obviously have their place. And when I meet a lot of kind of minimally speaking autistic children, they often have a lot of nouns: apple, banana, dog, car, cat, which is fine. It is great that they have words under their belt. However, if your child falls over and hurts themselves, the word banana isn't going to be helping them very much, right? And this was actually very, very well highlighted to me with my own child. They would consistently repeat the word strawberry. As a parent, you just assume, let's get more strawberries. Let's just give her more strawberries. Oh gosh, we're going to run out of strawberries. What are we going to do? Like strawberries, strawberries, strawberries. But in reality, she only had nouns at that point in time. And I knew her understanding was greater than her expressive output. So did she really just want me to just keep feeding her strawberries? Maybe because she likes food, but maybe not. Maybe she was just trying to say, I like strawberries. Or can we buy strawberries again? Or these strawberries are really sweet. Or I like going strawberry picking. There are so many things that she might have actually been trying to tell me by just using that one word, strawberry. So It is really important to move away from nouns. And the first words you should focus on are the words that will change their life. So, for example, help, hurt, stop, more, finished, open, stuck, scared, tired, hungry. And just think about how powerful it will be when your child can tell you those things. I'm hurt. I'm scared. I'm stuck. I want to go home. These words reduce frustration. They increase independence. They improve safety, and they help children advocate for themselves. And I'm also just going to say, it will help with your peace of mind as well, knowing that your child can communicate these very, very important things to you. So if you're wondering what vocabulary to start with this summer, I would start there. If you're using an AAC device, I would be programming these onto their AAC, and it is perfectly okay to program it in as a sentence as well. And if you're doing sign language, I would use those signs to help, more, hurt. I still remember some, even if my child doesn't anymore. Before we finish, I want to talk about the biggest mistake I see parents make every summer. Okay. And I was actually talking a couple of times this week with some parents about it. So the biggest mistake is trying to do everything, trying to turn every moment into therapy, trying to follow 10 different experts at once, trying to work on 20 different goals at once. They end up feeling overwhelmed. Their child ends up exhausted, confused, burnt out. And if I'm being honest, progress doesn't typically come from doing more. It comes from doing the right things consistently. Doing too much actually dilutes the progress of all of them. So it's really important to focus on the right things at the right time. And it is also really important to ensure that your child is getting their foundational needs met as well. Like, think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That bottom one, or few, is like rest, water, and food, right? Sleep, water, and food. Make sure they're getting that this summer. And the needs for different children vary wildly. In our household, we can go out and do something one day of the weekend, but not the other, because one of my child really needs that rest. They need to stay home and just be with no expectations. And that is fine, because it means she's much better prepared for progress for the rest of that week. So if you found this video helpful, please let me know by giving it a like. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is your biggest goal for your child this summer? Or what is your biggest wish for them? Do you want to see more communication, more independence, more conversation, more confidence? Let me know below. And if you would like to hear more practical strategies for helping your autistic child with their communication, make sure you subscribe, because that's exactly what I talk about on here. I'll see you in the next video.